Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And I try to bring you interesting either commentary or law and crime stories, or just interesting stories in general that are taking place across our country and sometimes across the world. And this one is coming straight out of Atlanta. Atlanta is having a lot of things going on here recently. As we all know, Fani Willis is the black female DA in Fulton County who's going after ex-President Donald Trump in the state RICO case for voter fraud. And then she's on the hot seat for her hiring special prosecutor Nathan Wade and the amount of money she's been paying him, and him having no legal history for defending or prosecuting criminal cases in general, let alone RICO cases. And so she is on trial for that right now. And also, you had an assistant TSA director who got arrested in Atlanta airport several months ago over a dispute with her own family members, her brother and her father and her mother, over a piece of property in Florida, where the brother said that the sister, who's the assistant director of TSA for Hartsfield Airport, that in Atlanta, that she had falsified a quitclaim deed, and they arrested her. So there's a lot going on. Of course, there's been multiple rapper criminal cases, murders. Atlanta's trying to parody itself after Chicago in a certain sense, with the level of crime, the level of felonious behavior, the level of the number of rappers, the number of black politicians and lawyers that have garnered a certain position of power. And you got Brandon Johnson as the black male mayor of Chicago, and you have several black leaders in Atlanta. But this one is about a white female attorney who is representing many of your big time rappers down in Atlanta. And this is a young lady, attorney Nicole Fegan. This attorney, she is representing one of the former co-defendants in the racketeering and organized crime trial of Atlanta rapper Young Thug and YSL. A group authorities have declared a criminal street gang. This YSL. This is a group authorities have declared a street gang. Has also been arrested on gang-related charges in Georgia. Attorney Nicole Fegan, who has been described as the LeBron James of the legal world, served as counsel for Tinquarius Mender, whose case was separated from Young Thug's overall trial last year. So Young Thug, YSL, they've got murder, drug charges, RICO charges that are taking place. This female young attorney, Nicole Fegan, is representing a piece of it, and she was able, instead of all of it's multiple people that are on trial for murder and other felonious charges, and she was able to take her client and get his case separated from the rest of them. That happens a lot in the legal world when there are multiple people involved in either a high-profile case or multiple felonious cases that are taking place. But this young lady has been a bright and shining star in Atlanta, and so and has been representing rappers, and she's a criminal defense attorney. She's only been in practice about 9 or 10 years. She opened up her own practice and she has ballooned through the sky. But sometimes there's a fine line between criminal defense attorneys that represent criminals and then criminal defense attorneys becoming criminals. So the Atlanta Police Department confirmed Friday that the criminal defense lawyer was nabbed in Gwinnett County on warrants charging her with criminal solicitation to commit the offense of tampering with evidence and participating in criminal street gang activity. As I just said, sometimes there's a very, very fine line, especially the more high profile the attorney becomes and dealing with drug cases, murder cases, rappers that are in very dangerous and borderline criminal activity. The lines can get blurred, and as that criminal defense attorney becomes more famous, there are more eyeballs on that criminal defense attorney, including the FBI, the IRS. They may be winning a lot of cases for their clients, but sometimes the government and the system does not like it, and they will be on a radar no different than any other drug lord, anybody else that is teetering on the brink of being legal and illegal. And so Attorney Fegan was arrested Friday, for allegedly cold calling a suspect in a September 27th, 2022 deadly double shooting in Northwest Atlanta. According to WANF, investigators said Attorney Fegan told the suspect she learned in a preliminary hearing related to a shooting that there were active warrants for his arrest. She's accused of telling the unnamed person who she was not representing to dispose of his phone as police were going to arrest him. So she was in a preliminary hearing about a case that involved all these guys. It's kind of complicated. This thing has been going on for over a year. This RICO case that they have, which Fani Willis, who's the DA trying to go after Trump, she was spearheading and was a part of this particular case also until she moved on to this Trump situation. And that's what brought Fani Willis's name to national attention, was this Young Thug YSL situation. And she had some relationship with this too, as a lawyer, and then knowing some of those folks. But this young lady, Attorney Fegan, was taken into custody and is currently being held at the Fulton County Jail. Young Thug, whose legal name is Jeffrey Lamar Williams, is currently on trial for conspiracy to violate Georgia's Racketeering, Influenced, and Corrupt Organization Act, more commonly known as the RICO charge. The RICO Act. The founder of YSL, believed to be a suspect of the Bloods gang, was initially indicted alongside 27 others, but the sprawling organized crime cage was divided, so the Atlanta rapper will stand trial along only with 5 other co-defendants. So they separated them out. Attorney Nicole Fegan has agreed to a $40,000 bond. She was released from jail around 10 p.m. last night on Friday, which was last night. So she, here again, I don't know, and I don't know if she, even though she's representing these rappers, did she start becoming friends with them and felt like, or hanging out with them? I tell you, I know quite a few criminal defense attorneys, and the lines can get blurred. I know the big time criminal defense attorney here in St. Louis, who has represented Nelly, Marshall Falk, and several other athletes and entertainers that have gotten in trouble. And he is quasi friends and also their legal representation. So lawyers have to be very, very careful, because they have a fiduciary duty to represent themselves, and they're holding up the shield of the judicial court and system, and they cannot just go out here and behave and act like any old rapper or any given rapper. And when these criminal defense attorneys get these guys uh, off these cases, um, or win these cases for them, sometimes these rappers want to become best friends with these attorneys, and these attorneys have to be strong enough to say, "Hey, I'm just representing you. You're my client," and not to become friends. And I think to a certain degree, this may have taken place with Nicole Fegan. She's only 34 years old. Her rise to the top within 9 years. She's not 44. She's not 54. And I'm not in Atlanta. I know several people in Atlanta. I know several lawyers, and my line brother, fraternity brother, is an open heart surgeon in Atlanta. Just for those who are listening, I'm a member of Omega Psi Phi, Q Dogs, Roof. And her rise and her ascendance is awfully fast. So, and they also had her in a magazine. They said Attorney Fegan is considered a rising star. For Fegan, the allegations are a fall from grace for a defense attorney who had been considered a rising star. In a 2019 Facebook post, she shared an article about her from Atlanta, Attorney at Law magazine, which calls her the new generation of criminal defense attorneys. And just a little backstory on Nicole Fegan. She's 34 years old. She graduated from Drexel University in 2011, and then she went on to Atlanta's John Marshall Law School and graduated in 2014 in 2.5 years. So her ascension has been extremely fast, and doesn't sound like her father or some family member has helped her along the way. But I did see, I'm following her on Instagram, and I hadn't paid much attention to it. As I said, I know several people in Atlanta. But one thing that was a little bit disconcerting from a professional standpoint is that a lot of her Instagram posts, you'll see her rapping a lot of the explicit lyrics from some of either her clients or some of the Atlanta rappers that are down there, with the cuss words and the N-word and all this other stuff. I'm not saying she used the N-word, but and then she's in her car driving and rapping the lyrics after she's won some cases, and she's even shown documents where she's won. I think that's pushing the limit of professionalism, and I think that, as I told you, the more the criminal defense attorneys get people off and win cases against the state, let alone the United States government, there becomes a lot of eyeballs on these criminal defense attorneys. And sometimes the system gets a little bit jealous, and they would like to lock up these attorneys just as much as these guys that have been accused of crimes. Just ask Johnny Cochran. I mean, for years he has gotten entertainers and athletes and people off, including O.J. Simpson, for years. And if he had not dotted every I and crossed every T in his personal life and professional life, including paying his taxes and doing everything right, trust and believe that the state of California, the U.S. government would have loved to have locked Johnny Cochran up before he passed, if nothing else, just to embarrass him. There were a lot of people across this country that was upset that he got O.J. Simpson off and some of these other entertainers that he got off in the past. So I think Attorney Nicole Fegan has to be very careful and walk a fine line, even away from the courtroom as a professional, that as when she's getting, and especially the kinds of clients that she's representing. She's a white female. She's getting a lot of these young black rappers and entertainers off that kind of have an over-the-top lifestyle. Their music can be denigrating and offensive. And I think the general public, whether you're black or white, is not too in favor of the kind of music that is being propagated, in the music industry today. And so if you have a young lady like a Nicole, a beautiful young female attorney who's getting these people off, Uh, she has to be very aware, and she should be as a lawyer, that her phones might be tapped. She may be being followed. Uh, uh, the government and the system wants to make sure that she is not blurring the lines between being legal representation and a part of the RICO deal, or committing any kind of crime, and cross pollinating that with her client and attorney privilege. Uh, but yeah, because I'm even curious on how they even knew that she told this particular suspect to throw his phone away. How did they find that out? Was his phone tapped? Was her phone tapped? Uh, but yeah, she's in several of her Instagram pictures where she's rapping and throwing it up, and you kind of thumbing your nose at the system. I think she should be a little bit more low key, especially on social media. Social media, and lawyers should know, social media has gotten so many folks in trouble, young people, that is not even funny. And so, as an attorney, as a professional who should know the law, know how the law works, and what they look for, what they go after, you shouldn't fall into. You're the biggest hypocrite, or what a dichotomy, if you fall into that web of uh, loosening and perpetrating this kind of I'm going to thumb my nose at you, and teetering on legal and illegal activity. They're going to come after you. Now, I'm not saying she did participate in anything illegal. I'm just presenting this particular case. And I think that criminal defense attorneys have to walk a very fine line, white or black attorneys, especially when you're dealing in this rap industry, in this drug industry, in some of these high criminal profile cases. Even if you get these clients off, there is going to be a spotlight on you for a long time. So yes, one of the high profile attorneys, Miss Nicole Fegan, got arrested, uh, saying that she is involved in criminal solicitation to commit the offense of tampering with evidence and participating in a criminal street gang activity. I don't know if that's a stretch from the system, the government, or the state. We'll have to see. She's just getting her career started. She's a smart attorney. She's been doing very well. She's got an entire career ahead of her at 34 years old. Tell me what you think about this case. Tell me what you think about criminal defense attorneys. Do they ever blur the lines with their clients, especially with these rappers? They can get enamored with the fame and forget that they're their lawyers, and that some of these guys are in trouble, and that they have to walk a very fine line so they don't violate their license or their representation as an attorney. There's a lot of eyeballs on you, and there's a microscope. And these criminal defense attorneys need to be reminded of this. And hopefully this is just a wake-up call that attorney Nicole Fegan didn't do anything wrong, and that she can get a slap on the wrist and have a wake-up call, and then continue to represent and defend the defendless and the people that need great legal counsel when they're in trouble. This has been a Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth in a positive, righteous, and God-fearing manner.